Hello guys and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back again for the team selection video for Double Gameweek 34. We apologize for not being able to stream yesterday. Normally we do stream on a Thursday evening. However, because it was Europa League, we thought we'd go and stream today. And it lets us kind of watch the European football because Liverpool played last night. And that will help us when we come to make our free hits, which is what I'm on. So, yeah, we're going to get onto Game Week 34 in a bit. Let's quickly recap on Game Week 33 because that was an interesting week. So, let's start off with my team. I do have a few things to really discuss in my team. I don't know if we discussed it all because we had a Chelsea played on Monday night, I believe. So, I don't think we get to talk about our Chelsea players.
Yeah, Chelsea never to match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as we know, Chelsea did win. Was it 5-0 in the end against Everton? Which was a big score. 6-0, my bad. And yeah, I did have double Chelsea defence, which came in clutch. For once, I feel like that's the first clean sheet I've had from them this season, once owning Chelsea players. And Petrovic and Gusto both got me 6 points each, which was nice. Gabriel, unfortunately, did get me 0 points after their 2-0 loss against Villa. Van Heck conceded in the 1-1 draw, I believe, against Sheffield. In the midfield, wasn't really anything to shout about. Son, Salah, Saka, and Garnacho. Sorry, Garnacho didn't. I mean, Son, Salah, Saka, the main three, blanked. Garnacho got an assist. I was subbed off at half-time, which I'm not sure why. And then the big one was Cole Palmer. For those that didn't watch, he had a bit of a stormer in that game against Everton with a lovely hat-trick. And he came on with 26 points. So congratulations to anyone who captured Palmer. Obviously, it's massively paid off. But even if you own Palmer, it's barely a green arrow because his ownership is so high. Unless you captained him, it's probably doesn't affect your rank. And then up front, I had Isak, which was really nice for his couple of goals against Spurs, and then I had Haaland for his goal as well and his assist, I believe, in Man City's win. And that he comes away with my 20 points due to being my captain. So all in all, it's been a fantastic game week. On the bench, I had Kelleher, who was my auto sub. So Petrovic off the bench was lovely. Højlund, Udogi, and Burn on the bench. Burn did get a clean sheet, which I didn't really see coming. So all in all, fantastic week. 81 points for me all out. That moves me up to now 64k overall rank, which is a big step in terms of my ranks this season. And I'm hoping now with Game Week 34 coming up, either double game week, I'm on a free hit. I'm hoping to break into that top 50k. But yeah, that's my 33 out the way. Jordan, go ahead, talk us through your Game Week 33 as well.
Yeah, it turns out to be a very high scoring Game Week 33. So let's start off with Leno in goal, who did manage to get me a clean sheet, surprisingly, in that West Ham game where Fulham won 2-0. Got me the clean sheet. He also was rewarded with 2 bonus points, also an extra point for making the 3 saves during that game. In total, we got 4, but because it's free value to 1 point, that's give me 9 points from Leno, which I'm pretty happy about. Moving on to the back 3 with Reguilon. He got me the 8 points in his clean sheet against Sheffield United. He also was awarded with bonus 2 as well. So that transfer paid off massively for me, bringing him in when he had obviously Sheffield United. They did manage the clean sheet, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with Brentford's performance in that game. Move on to Brentford. He was kind of the polar opposite. This was kind of a shocking result, but Everton did lose 6-0 to Chelsea. I actually honestly thought Everton would win that game or at least get a draw from that, but it turns out it wasn't to be. Brentford was substituted off early in that second half, around 56 minutes from injury. It shouldn't be anything serious, as it's flagged as not currently on FPL. But because he conceded at least 4 goals, that's a -2 points. So he ends up on -1. So yeah, not very good for us Brentford owners. Last defender, obviously Gabriel. he comes away with no clean sheet in that 2-0 loss to Aston Villa. And he also got a yellow card as well, so he ends up on 0 points. Moving to the midfield, where it gets a little bit more interesting. We'll start off with Gordon, who I'd say was my biggest, one of my biggest returners of this week. He got 17 points for the goal he scored and assisting 2 of the goals in that 4-0 win over Tottenham. He also got a clean sheet point and got the bonus 3 as well, which is quite nice from him. Considering the fixture was pretty tough, you would say, against Tottenham, but it seems Newcastle had a very good game. Salah, on the other hand, blanks in that 1-0 loss to Crystal Palace. Very interesting result there, especially at Anfield. And obviously Salah didn't come away with anything from that game. Moving on to Palmer, who was the player of the game week with his massive score of 26 points, scoring 4 goals, getting the clean sheet and getting the bonus 3. And yeah, if you did captain Palmer, you won the game week initially because he was the most high scoring player. Moving on to Saka, he blanks in the 2-0, obviously lost to Aston Villa, so not really much to talk about there. And Son also blanks, with only playing 57 minutes in his game against Newcastle, where Tottenham didn't score. So that was a surprise result, as well as seeing him go off in the second half. And finally, up front, the 2 forwards, we've got Haaland, who got his goal from a penalty, which he obviously put in the back of the net. He also assisted one of the goals, one of the 5 goals that Man City did score against Luton, and also was rewarded with the bonus 1. So he ends up on 10 points. On the other hand, though, I did go for Muniz, my captain, for this week. Again, it didn't really pay off. That's his 3rd blank in a row. And yeah, he only ends up on 4 points for him. So yeah, even though Fulham won 2-0, I think Andreas Pereira was the goal scorer for both of them, but no involvement from Muniz. And just quickly on the bench, there's not really much to talk about. Only Doughty, really, who ends up on 0 points due to conceding at least 4 goals to Man City. So yeah, he ends up on 0, and the rest of my team was out for that game due to injury. But overall, it is a nice week in terms of a green arrow. I have moved up. It isn't a massive one. It is a very small one. My old rank was 60k, and I now finish on 52k. So a little 8k green arrow for me this week. And yeah, I felt like it didn't look like it was going to be a great week, but until that Chelsea game, it did turn itself around. I think you're muted, Huss.
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry guys. So that's game week 33 out of the way. We thought we'd do a quick recap just to go through how we did. We are going to move on now to double game week 34 as that is approaching. So I'll pull up my team very quickly. Just bear with me for a second, guys. So as you guys know, I am on a free hit. And I've actually activated my free hit already. I did that pretty early on because I know what players I want to sort of bring in. Hopefully you guys can see that all good. Yep, that's perfect. So I'll go through my free hit draft so far, and then I'll also go through why I picked these players. So I've tinkered around with my free hit quite a bit, and I've landed on this. This could change, but I'm like 90% happy with the players I've picked. There's only 1 or 2 50-50s where I'll go through and discuss. So in goal, I've got Pickford. Now, I don't think Pickford is the best pick. I think the best goalkeeper picks this week are Alisson and Raya. But because I've got triple Liverpool and I've got triple Arsenal already, I think I'll just go Pickford. He's got Forest and Liverpool at home, 2 home games. I don't expect much from Pickford. I think he'll concede against Liverpool, and the Forest is the one I'm hoping for a clean sheet. So we'll have to see how he does. Moving into the back 3, let's start off with Van Dijk. So I've decided to include Van Dijk because I definitely want a Liverpool defender in there. So I'm on the triple Liverpool players. Van Dijk's the one I just thought, he's the one that I expect to play 90 minutes in both games. I did have Trent in my team initially, but I've taken Trent out for Van Dijk just because I am worried whether Trent plays both the games to 90 minutes, which I'm not sure he does. I think Trent might come off in one of them, or he might not even start one of them. And even with Robertson, I also looked at Robertson, But I'm just worried about minutes, and that's why I've gone Virgil, because he's saved 180 minutes. I know he's going to play. I've also gone Munoz, the Palace defender, in there as well. I just think Palace have 2 home games, 2 nice fixtures. I can see a potential, maybe a clean sheet in one of them. Obviously, Munoz is a bit more attacking than Tyrick Mitchell as well. So I've got Munoz in there as well, just to cover the Palace defence. And I think he's one of the more better picks. If you are on a free hit, I would want to include one Palace player as well. And to complete the back line, I've got Gabriel. Now, I didn't really want Gabriel in my team. I wanted to pick Ben White, just because Ben White is a differential, really. No one has Ben White. When you look at non-free hitters, everyone pretty much has Gabriel or Saliba. I was thinking of going Ben White, but again, there is a potential issue of rotation. We know Gabriel has a bit of a goal for it as well, and maybe I'll go different, but I think just to be safe, I've gone Gabriel to cover the Arsenal defence. Obviously, they've got Wolves and Chelsea as well. In the midfield 5 is where it gets a bit interesting. The exciting pick I'm looking forward to having in my team this week is actually Eze. I bought Eze in. He's got 2 home games against West Ham and Newcastle. He did score against Liverpool in Game Week 33, so I'm excited to own him and see how he does in his double. And he's definitely a lock in my team. He's not going anywhere, and I'm quite happy to own him. I've gone with the double Arsenal attack. I've gone Saka and Havertz. I think Odegaard was a close pick over Havertz, but I like Havertz because he's a differential, non-free hit. Non-free hitters, I believe, won't be able to get to Havertz. So that's my reason why I've brought him in. He has been a bit of a goal-scoring run of late. And Saka, we know he's one of the nailed players to be in a free hit, a non-free hit as well. I think you've got to have Saka, even though, Arsenal have been a bit of a tricky patch lately, but I'm happy to own the double attack going into their double game week. And I've also decided to go for the Liverpool double attack as well with Salah and Luis Diaz. Salah, I think, is an obvious one why he's in the team. He did score, I believe, last night. Obviously, he scored a penalty. He hasn't looked great, Salah, compared to his usual self, but I think you still got to have him in the team. And the final option was, do I pick Luis Diaz or do I pick Darwin Núñez and go 3 up top? I've gone with Luis Diaz, but that could easily change in the deadline stream. I could go 3-4-3 and go I could go Darwin Núñez up top and go 3 attackers. But right now, I am leaning towards Luis Diaz, just because I think he might be more nailed for minutes. But it's 50-50. I'm not even sure Luis Diaz starts both the games. Where Liverpool do have all their strikers back now. We know Darwin's there. Jota's back from injury, came on, played 30 minutes last night. And we know Gakpo's there as well, who did start in the Europa League after Darwin was on the bench. So it might mean Darwin starts against Fulham. Who knows? And the attack, I've not really considered any free hit without these 2. I've got Mateta and Solanke in there. Excited to own both again. Mateta's been pretty decent. He played well against Liverpool, I thought. He's got 2 home games. Excited to see how he does. And the Solanke, we know he's been excellent all season. He's got 2 away fixtures, but the fixtures are quite nice. Villa, Wolves, happy to own them again. And I'm quite confident that Solanke could potentially have a good week here. So all in all, this is the team, triple Liverpool, triple Arsenal, triple Palace, 1 Everton, and then 1 Bournemouth. On the bench, I've got Neto, I've got McBurney, Mikalenko, and Ait-Nouri as well. I just put them in because they got doubles. I don't expect them to get auto-subbed or anything like that. So that's my free hit draft, guys. Let me know what you think in the chat below. Is there anyone else you'd swap out for one of my picks? Is there anyone that you'd bring in that I don't have? I know Darwin's one I've looked at, but it's out of Diaz or Darwin. The other player I've looked at is actually Trent, so Van Dijk or Trent. And other than that, I'm pretty happy with the rest of the team. To be honest, I'm not really looking at bringing anyone else in.
Yeah, just looking at the free hit for this, because I haven't seen this team since you've done it. I have probably 3 questions, and I'll say the first one is, I think I've asked this, but I'll ask it again. Are you going to consider any single game week players in this free hit draft, or are they all going to be double?
Absolutely not. No free hitters in my team. There is 2 free hitters, I think. Sorry, 2 single game week players that Haaland's there. Also, Cole Palmer, we know, is there as well. But Cole Palmer has Arsenal, I believe. And and Man City have Brighton, I think. But no, I've not actually considered a single game week player at all. I don't plan on having any single game week players. I want to go different. I think if you're on a free hit, I think most people are going to be going all double game week players. So yeah, no, I've not actually considered any single game week players.
Okay, fair enough. Second question is, in terms of Crystal Palace assets, do you think 3 is a bit too much, considering Crystal Palace don't score that many goals, and even though they have a double game week coming up, would you rather have more cover in terms of, like, for example, Wolves, like instead of having Mateta, maybe have Cunha and then have Eze as cover for Crystal Palace and Muniz?
Yeah, so it makes it easier for me now because, as you can see, I had Cunha on my bench, but Cunha's now actually disappeared from my bench because we've actually been told by the manager today, Cunha is not going to play, guys, in Double Gameweek 34. So for those that wanted to go Cunha, as I was considering Cunha or Mateta, it's made it easy for us now because obviously we know Cunha's injured. You know, if you've got Cunha, get him out of your team, and I think now it makes it even easier to put Mateta in there. So it's either Mateta or someone like Darwin, but I rather think I'll go with Diaz. But yeah, that answers your question really. Instead, Cunha's essentially, he's out for this game week. So yeah, it just makes it Mateta and no one else really for me.
Okay. Last question is: are you 100% certain on captaincy over Salah for this double game week? Have you any other maybe potential captains you could go for instead of him?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'm looked at Salah. I've had it on Salah all week. Vice captain Saka, and to be honest, I'm 99% sure it's going to be Salah. I don't see me changing it elsewhere. Even though Salah hasn't been at his best, I think Liverpool have the best double out of any team this game week. And Salah, for me, is still the main man. He's on penalties. He scored a penalty last night. And yeah, I don't think I'll be going anywhere other than Salah. If I was going to change it, Saka's second best, but I still think there's a big gap between Salah and Saka in terms of captaincy, because I've not been that impressed with Saka either recently. So I mean, Salah's sort of an auto pick, really. I don't see where else I can go with it. So yeah, I'm locked on Salah, to be honest.
Okay.
But yeah, guys, that's my team. Let me know what you guys think of the free hit draft. Let me know who you'd add in. Let me know if you're free hitting as well. And also, guys, if you are enjoying the content, do make sure you subscribe and hit that like button, guys, if you are enjoying the content. But yeah, same to you, Jordan. Let's pull up your Gaming 34 team. Talk us through your transfer plans as well.
So yeah, here is my team currently for Double Gameweek 34. So let's just start off with the goalkeeper. Obviously, I've got Leno, who has a difficult fixture against Liverpool at home. I haven't heard news about Areola, whether he's going to be fit or not. Like Crystal Palace away at one, but I will be looking at that just in case he is, because I may be able to potentially swap him if he is fit for that game. But that's a wait and see. But moving on to the back four, actually, there is a change of formation. I am playing 4 at the back currently. So Reguilon's the first one. He's got Luton away. Yeah, I'm happy to play him as a single game week player. I think that's a good fixture for him. He has shown attack and threat in previous game weeks as well, and coming off of a clean sheet against Sheffield United. I'm full of confidence for him to do the business against Luton away. We'll have to wait and see how that match goes. And alongside him, obviously, Doughty, who plays against him. He's got, obviously, Brentford at home. So, yeah, there is a bit of clash there in defence in terms of single game fixtures between the two. I think the best result probably from this game is a 0-0, but I'm very doubtful that's going to happen. So I'm hoping one or the other could get a clean sheet rather than both of them obviously having a clean sheet wide. But next we have Gabriel. He's got Wolves away and Chelsea at home in his double match. So yeah, happily to play obviously Gabriel. I think he's probably one of the best Arsenal assets to go for in terms of defence, because he does show aerial threat on set pieces and corners. And yeah, the fixture's not so bad considering Arsenal's position at the moment in the title race. They are pretty much on a must win now, especially when they've been knocked out of the other competition the other day. So yeah, there's all to play for Arsenal. And finally, we've got Brantwaite, who's currently flagged at the moment. That again, I'll be looking out to see whether he's going to be fine for his double game week. But
yeah, what's the news on Brantwaite?
I haven't had an update of obviously what happened to Brantwaite from his last game week, but it is a knock on FPL with a 75% chance of playing. So I don't think it's anything too serious. So fingers crossed. I will be looking out for the press conference on obviously on what the manager said about him. But that does complete the back line, obviously. Brentford has Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, both home fixtures, which I think...
So just so you're aware, Jordan, I've seen some Brentford news. Sean Dyche did say he's hopeful of having Brentford available for Sunday's game. So
okay. That's
just slight positive news. He's been involved in light training today, Brentford, so he could be there for Sunday.
Yeah, I guess that's a benefit in playing on Sunday rather than Saturday as well. So yeah, for other Brentford owners, that's good positive news. But yeah, that does complete the back four. Yeah. Moving on to the midfield four. So we've got Salah with Fulham and Everton, both away fixtures, and is currently my captain for this week. As Hus mentioned, Salah hasn't been his best since he's come back from injury. I still think he's sort of fighting that off in terms of his play style hasn't been the same before he got injured, but nonetheless, he still has a double, and he is Salah after all. He can do the business and can do the magic, and he is the penalties too. So yeah, he's currently my captain. Alongside him, we've got Saka with his double against Wolves and Chelsea at home. And yeah, I'm not really being impressed with Saka, but you can't knock his results through the entire season. It does back up that he has done pretty well, even though Arsenal have had a bit of hicks and giggles in between matches. But yeah, again, I think Saka is hard to replace, and especially with a double this week. I think I'm happy to play him. He's my vice captain. If I've ever thought of changing it, I think I'm going to keep it as it is at the moment. But moving on to the rest of the midfield, so we've got Palmer, who's got Arsenal away. And obviously, Palmer comes off of scoring 4 goals against Everton, which I don't think any of us really saw that coming. But we know how good Palmer is, especially on penalties. He still has yet to miss one. I hope I haven't jinxed him. If he does take another penalty, he misses this. The next penalty he manages to get. But yeah, Arsenal away, it's going to be a tough game between both. And especially for Arsenal, it's a must win. And I think Chelsea would do what they can possibly do to stop them from obviously getting that win. But I can still see Palmer doing well in this single game fixture, especially after coming off of that massive haul. I'll be happy to play him against Arsenal away and see what happens, because the way this season has gone, it was full of surprises, and I think definitely Palmer is one of them to show that. And finally, to complete the midfield four, we have Gordon, who has Crystal Palace away. And again, he had a really good game week with his 17 points of scoring the goal and getting 2 assists. So yeah, I'm happy to play Gordon. His ownership is not as high as the rest of my team members are, so he is acting like a differential for me in terms of my rank. So I'm hoping he does well against Crystal Palace away like he did last game week. And yeah, hopefully that would help, I think, considering I'm not on a free hit. So that leaves the front two forwards. So I've got Muniz, he's got Liverpool at home. Tough fixture, I think, coming off of 3 blanks now since his last return. So yeah, he is in my talking, obviously my transfer thoughts, so I won't say much about him. So I'll move on to Haaland, who is currently flagged at the moment as well. Again, I don't think that's serious. We have to see, but yeah, he's flagged as a knock as well. So muscle injury, sorry. So I imagine he will be fine, but we'll see close to the time what Pep says. But he does have Brighton away, which is a nice, I'll say, for a single game feature, pretty good, considering as well Man City's position. They're now top of the table, and yeah, they're in a prime position. So that just leaves the bench. So obviously Ariola's flagged. He's got Crystal Palace away. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he's fit enough to play in that fixture, because I can swap him in for Leno. Son has a blank, obviously, this week for Spurs. Bell is still out injured, so he won't be playing against Brentford at home. Although Semenyo is a surprising one, because he was red flagged, but that's now disappeared, which I didn't realise until I checked earlier.
Also, sorry, some news literally just now. Haaland was not in full training today. Muscular issue. Doesn't sound serious. So that's the tweet from MCFC Tone on Twitter. So yeah, Haaland wasn't in full training today. So I don't know what that means for Haaland owners, but yeah, that's the latest on Haaland.
Okay, so yeah, that could be 50-50 whatever happens to Haaland. But yeah, in the surprising scenario, Semenyo appears to be fine. He doesn't appear to be injured anymore, so he should be ready to go for Aston Villa away on Wolves. Whether he plays both though is another thing, because obviously he's just come back from an injury, so whether the manager decides to play him for both, that'll be undecided. But it's nice to see one of my bench players come back, considering I had a lot of flags on the bench, and without him, I had no bench essentially. But moving on to what my plans are for Double Game 34 in terms of transfers, I have 2.6 million in the bank, and obviously one transfer to use. So as you can guess, I am going to use that one free transfer to bring in another player, and that is specifically a Double Gameweek player. So I have decided to take out Muniz, who obviously has a tough fixture against Liverpool at home. I don't think that's going to be much in it for him. I'll be very surprised if... I'm not surprised Fulham score in that game, but I will be more surprised if Muniz does. It's just got a gut feeling he won't get that goal in that game if there is one. So I'm going to take the risk and take him out. And the player I'm thinking of bringing in is Solanke, who obviously has a double against Aston Villa and Wolves away. Now, this is very tight, and this will all depend as well if Solanke rises in price, because as you can see in my bank, I have 0.0 million. So if he has one price rise, that kind of rules me out of bringing them in. So I will be keeping an eye on that in case he does rise tonight. But that is my transfer plans. It's one single transfer. I'm not going to take a hit. And that gives me 5. If you include Semenyo, that's 6 Double Gameweek players, but 5 in the starting 11. I think that's pretty good cover, considering I have obviously 6 single Gameweek players. It is going to be tough, I think, for me to get a green arrow this week, because I'm in the non-free hit position, and there is a lot of people using chips this week, whether they're wildcarding or free hitting. So I'm hoping that obviously my single Gameweek players can somehow outperform the double Gameweek players that I don't own in my team. Yeah. But that's currently my transfer plans for Double Gameweek 34.
Could you not be tempted to just bench Doughty and play Semenyo, who's got a double?
I could be tempted at that, but I don't know if Semenyo will play and how many minutes he will play in both of the doubles, as he has come back from injury.
So Semenyo is actually... The news on Semenyo is he's fit. So he's back in terms of fitness. I don't know if he's going to start both games, but in terms of the news on Semenyo right now is that he's available for Game Week 34 after recovering from illness.
Okay, from illness. That's interesting one. Yeah, I might be tempted to play and start him over Doughty, because obviously Reguilon plays against him, and I kind of expect Reguilon to outscore Doughty in that game. So yeah, playing Semenyo could be a possibility for me, and play the 3-4-3 instead. But yeah, I'll probably have to decide that come closer to the deadline.
Also, essentially, if you bench Bramford, is a risk. He might not play both. So he could be a single game player. Obviously, if you do assume he plays both, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doubles potentially. Not maybe the optimal double. Semenyo having to start Brantford as well. Are you worried at all against free hitters, or even people with a few more doubles, or are you worried essentially of not having as many doublers? Or
oh yeah, no, absolutely, because like your team, for example, all your players are double Gameweek players. So if they have a stormer this week, I'm in a lot of trouble. I think it's going to be really hard for me to pull off a green arrow with 6 double Gameweek players, 6 single Gameweek players, and only having 2 defenders which double, and only 2 midfielders with 1 forward that doubles. So yeah, I am in a very sensitive position. But I think even if I took a hit like a -8, I still think that would just dig me a worse hole for me. So I think that's why I'm only decided to bring in 1, and hopefully, considering the injuries to some of the players, hopefully they're fine to play both fixtures.
Fair enough. Let's take a few comments. We've got Colm. Evening, guys. Sharing the stream. Thank you, Colm. I like the McBurney choice single fixture players. Foden has a great record against Brighton. Yeah, just so you're aware, guys, Man City do play on Thursday because I believe they have an FA Cup game on the weekend, so they play on Thursday. So that does give Haaland owners a bit of time before he plays. Saka might come into my captain thinking, especially with the Wolves injuries. Yeah, it seems like Wolves have a lot of players out, so Saka could be decent, but it seems like Salah will be probably the most popular pick this week. Genius Gamer, looking fresh, guys, and Havertz likely to play both. So going back to my team, if we move that's my team on the screen. But yeah, I've got Havertz in my free hit draft. I do think he'll play both, if I'm being honest. I expect Havertz to start in both. I just think Arsenal are going for the title. I'm surprised Havertz didn't play down the middle against Aston Villa when he has been doing quite well down the middle as the number 9. Evening, gents. Missed out again on the big Palmer haul. Decided on triple captain Salah 34, hoping for one big performance for the season. Yeah, look, I seem that you're going to have to get Palmer in soon because he's just going to carry on punishing you. He's got double game weeks coming up as well, so you've missed out on a lot of points for Palmer. Palmer's top scorer of the league now. I was actually speaking to Jordan about what we expect his price to be next season. I think he's going to be maybe around 9 million, 8.59 million next season. So, I mean, I bought him in when he was at 4.9 million. So, he's just been a great pick.
Yeah, and he does have 2 double game weeks announced in 35 and 37. So you don't want to miss him out for those, Elika.
Question for you both. Any differentials both of you recommend? I'm personally thinking of Barrett and Diaz. Yeah, I actually had Barrett and Diaz in my free hit draft, but I took him out for Luis Diaz, essentially. So I like him as a pick. Definitely. I'm a fan of him. I also like Robertson, Andrew Robertson at Liverpool as a differential pick. I also like Ben White. Instead of going Gabriel, going Ben White, or maybe even going Gabriel and Ben White and dropping Havertz and going with Saka, one attacker. So, yeah, those are the players like Burton Diaz, Robertson, Ben White, maybe someone like an Elise as well at Palace. I think Elise could be decent as well. I mean, are there any picks that you like, Jordan? Double game week players that people aren't mentioning?
Maybe the defender Mitchell for Crystal Palace. He did get an assist against Liverpool actually in that goal and got a massive 12-pointer. Even though he doesn't show much attacking threat because that's only 3 assists and 1 goal for him this season, he could make a clutch against West Ham. West Ham have struggled quite a bit, so in that double against them and Newcastle, maybe he could get something out of that game. But yeah, because of his low ownership as well, he's only 4%. Because no one's really looked at him really. So yeah, as a defender pick, I think he could be really good.
Yep. Evening all. Only went and bought in Cunha early during week out of boredom. -4 it is. Yep. We know Cunha, guys, is injured. So that's why we always recommend don't go early. If you can wait, definitely wait. Because otherwise, there's always injuries and things midweek and we hear new news and things like that. I don't know if Elika, I don't know if Sinistera is out for long, but I think Bournemouth will look to bring him in. I think Sinistera is out for a while. Bournemouth are forced to play the left back in the left wing, as also Elika.
Yeah, that was a bit drastic measures for that.
But yeah, I think that's how both our teams are lining up, guys. We're back for deadline stream tomorrow. I think it will be Jordan taking the deadline stream as I've had some work commitments that I got to take care of. So join Jordan tomorrow for deadline stream. Should be a good one. I think it's a 1:30 deadline, so it's a lunchtime deadline. It's a later stream than usual, but it should be a good one nonetheless. I'm on a free hit. Jordan's going to have to make a transfer. He's probably looking to bring Solanke in. So make sure you do tune in, guys. Put your comments in the chat. Like the stream as well, guys. If you are enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button if you're watching for the first time. And I think that's it from us, guys. FN also says, didn't know Cunha is out. Make Arsenal defense very good. Yeah, Cunha is out, guys. If you've got him in your team, you got to take him out. It's been confirmed by Gary O'Neill. But yeah, that's it from us. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan?
Yeah, just enjoy your weekend, guys. Happy Friday, obviously. Yeah, see you guys tomorrow. You get a nice lie-in. It's not an early deadline stream. So yeah, until then, take care. And I'll see you on the morrow.